All right, so good morning, everyone. Formally, I've started the recording now. So welcome to our first session for this theme. The theme for this week is security as a concept. And we will begin the week by listening to three presenters representing group 1, 2, and 3. So we'll start off with the representative from group number 3, Ms. Lucian. So Adele, without further delay, please go ahead with your answer to the assigned question.
Thank you, Mr. Yeager, and good morning, all. Can you hear me?
Yes, Adi, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. So I'll be giving our response to question 3. My group and I have discussed, and these are the response that we came up with, and I'll be presenting it on their behalf. So I'll get straight into it. The question is, according to Williams, why security studies considered a subfield of international relations? So first, I'll define what security is, the term security, and then I'll give the answer according to the text that we found, just the highlighted text that we found, and I will stress on those points. So the term security has evolved so much that there is no absolute meaning to the word itself. Hence, it means different things to different people depending on their time and place in human history. However, the term itself gained prominence after the Second World War, mostly in the 1950s, with the onset of Cold War between Eastern and Western bloc. That's according to Mohammed and Wijanto, 2021. So the subject of security was then linked to military aspect at the time, as most countries tried to maximize their military strength to ensure that security and survival against all intended threats. So our response to our question, security studies is considered a subfield in IR because security studies is understood as an area of inquiry focused around a set of basic but fundamental questions, the answers to which have changed and will continue to change over time. In addition, security has meant very different things to people depending on the time and place in human history. You'll find that in page 2 of the article that we read. But as the subject of professional academic inquiry, security studies, is usually thought of as a relatively recent and largely Anglo-American invention that came to prominence after the Second World War. So what does it mean? So from our group discussion, it means that it does not have a solid framework where we can say that this is a security issue faced between states, and this matter is, or we can say that this matter is regarding security, and it means different. Sorry, can I just rephrase that? It means that it does not have a solid framework where we can say that this is a security issue faced by states, or this is a matter regarding security. As mentioned, security means different things to different people, depending on the time and place. So what one perceives of what security is and means to them is different from another state. Take, for instance, a country may largely focus and pump all its funds towards building its military for security purpose, while another may do the same, but focusing on other aspects such as health and education, or maybe its economy. In addition, security studies is considered a subfield because the traditional concept of security studies, which mentions four things: the state, strategy, scientific, and the status quo, are contested by other academics. Take for instance, Barry Buzan argues that security studies is not only about states, but it's related to other human collectivities, and is affected by 5 other factors. That's military, political, economic, societal, and environmental. Furthermore, security studies came about because it was something that arose from the West, Anglo-American invention, and it wasn't really an idea of other states. So it started from the West and it sort of like moved towards other parts of the country. Yeah. So that's our response to our question. Yes, our question there. So if you have questions or comments that you want to add, please feel free.
Thank you, Adel and Group 3 for a very interesting answer. I'm sure the others will take a note of the answer. If you have any questions or comments, you will have to share that in the discussion forum, our discussion forum for this week. I've shared the link to the discussion forum in the chat box. Whatever questions or comments you have, you can share that in the form of an audio file or video file using the audio video plugins on the Auto Editor. But thank you, Group 3, and thank you, Adel, for sharing with us your answer to the assigned question. We now move on to the second presenter representing Group number 1. That is Latu Mahina. Caitlin, the floor is yours.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Good morning once again. I'm Caitlin Latu Mahina, as you all know, and I'm representing Group 1. So our question is, according to Williams, what are the 5 sectors of the framework developed by Buzan? So first off, Buzan argues that security not only concerns states, but concerns all human collectivities. And this does not primarily focus on, security does not primarily focus on military forces, because security is not a characteristic to be proved adequate within military forces. And so Buzan prefers that security should cover not only states, but human collectives as a whole. So the 5 sectors under Buzan's Buzan's framework for security is 1, military, 2, political, 3, economic, 4, societal, and 5, environmental. But before we are able to move on to the definitions of these 5 sectors within the framework, we have to better understand what is security. So basically, security is associated with a potential threat. Threats which can be understood as a potential loss, potential harm, potential death, etc. So we can say that security can be interchangeable with survival, although they are not the same, because security within the international relations arena, we understand it through international relations to mean the ability to pursue cherished political and social ambitions domestically and internationally. So security can be understood as a commodity being virtually synonymous with the accumulation of power. So the more you have power, the more security you would have. And security can also be understood as a relationship. Security can also be understood as when you have relationship with other states, specifically to understand emancipation, or specifically for the purpose of emancipation, which is the rights of the freedom of rights of the human rights and freedom and justice. So with that, basically security within this concept is basically security with Busan uses these preferred meaning of security to now explain the factors or the 5 sectors of security. So we'll go on to that. 1, military. So military is the interaction between offensive and defensive capabilities of states and their perceptions of each other's intentions. So within security, Busan prefers that this should be known as or referred to as strategic studies in order to avoid confusion. So when 2 states, if they have an interaction which would be offensive or defensive, it is better understood or better preferred to be known as strategic studies, so that these states would know how to go about in their security based on military perspective. Number 2, political. So political is focused on the organizational stability of states and state systems of government and the ideologies that give them their legitimacy. So this basically means that different states have different political ideologies, and their security would be based around these political ideologies. For example, not that maybe there's a security threat or not, but for example, America and China at this instance, they have different political ideologies. Economic, this is number 3. It is revolved around the access to the resources, finance, and markets necessary to sustain acceptable levels of welfare and state power. Number 4, societal, centered on the sustainability and evolution of traditional patterns of language, culture, and religious and national identity and custom. So this would be important because when there's a security threat or states under a security threat, or in case of war, they should be prioritized because it is the status quo of a nation. And number 5, environmental. This concerns the maintenance of the local and the planetary biosphere, because of course we all know it is the essential support of all living beings and the essential support of everyone in the world. So when we are under threat or security, it is also very important to consider that. So yeah, that's basically group 1's answer to our question about the 5 sectors of the framework from Busan. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. And
Was
group.
that clear?
Yes, it was clear.
Okay, thank you.
We heard everything you said, so thank you very much for representing your group. We now move on to the final group. Do we have a representative from group 2?
Mr. Yagira, Janice
Yes.
is supposed to be representing her group, but she's having some faults with her, she's having difficulties connecting. She didn't get the link. So is it okay if she can present on my computer?
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. So long as she represents your group and say something. Please go ahead, Janice.
Okay. Once again, good morning, everyone.
So I'm representing Group 2. So our question is, reads, how would you explain Busan's military sector in your own words? So from what me and my group members came up with, we think that Busan's military sector talks about different factors that are considered as security threat to someone or something. According to Busan and Hansen, 2009 described military sector as its concern is mostly based around the concept or idea of military, and that may be because security and military define each other, while other issues like poverty, climate change, etc., were not seriously considered as security issues. Busan's military sector was created after the Cold War period, and during that time, it became clear that security is all about survival, and military is not the only security threat within the international arena. But there are other issues which can also be considered as security threat. So according to Busan and Ansan 2009, Busan stated that military sector should be widened to include the economy, political economy, like for example, poverty or food and nutrition, and ecological security, for example, climate change. Yeah. So to conclude, Busan's military sector refers to not only military, but also different factors that are considered as security threat to individual state and even within the international arena. So, yeah, that's all from us.
All right, so thank you, Janice, for representing group number 2. So now you've heard from all three presenters, and once again, I'll repeat the given instructions that your comments, your questions should be shared in the week 1 forum for all to listen and then give the feedback or continue the discussion. So it should be in audio or video form using the available plugins on the Ento editor. So if you have any questions or comments, take note and then share in the discussion forum. Is that clear? Any questions? Anybody confused? You want me to further elaborate verbally? And just a reminder that this unit is an online unit, so there'll be no face-to-face contact or face-to-face classes. We'll take this approach. Last year, we did not have Zoom sessions because of the internet issue. The internet went out, so we had to use the forum. We had to do recording and then upload. But this year, this semester, we are blessed because we have internet connectivity, so we'll proceed with Zoom sessions, and then afterwards you can use the remaining period or the rest of the week to share your comments and questions in the assigned forum. All right, so just one talks our next week, Monday, we have a guest lecture by Dr. Francis Waluk Momi, the former DS Secretary. He'll be talking about security. He's now the acting National Security Advisor to the government, so he'll be talking about PNG's national security next week, Monday, so during the same period. So that means our Monday period will be moved to Friday, so we'll have a double session on Friday. So group 1 to group 7, all of you will present on Friday. So Monday we will listen to what he has to say about PNG's national security. And also he was in charge of revising the national security policy. So if you have questions, it will be a good time to ask in order to know more about the national security policy and PNG's security environment moving forward. So that is just what talk survey. So that's next week, Monday. Following Monday, we'll have Dr. Deng Zhang from ANU. And then the following week, Monday, the Monday after that, we'll have Richard McGregor from Lowy. Both of them will be talking about China as a security threat in the Pacific. China and journalism. McGregor will be talking about his experience as a journalist working in China and China's role in the Pacific region. So this is just talk hours for you to note. Any questions or comments before I let you go? I thank all the presenters for today, and our next session is on Friday, session 2. We have group 4, 5, 6, and 7 will be presenting on Friday. Adel, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Yeager, I just have a question. Do we have a time limit for each speaker or?
No, there's no time limitation. It depends on you and your group discussion. But you cannot go over 30 minutes.
No.
At least, let's say, between 3 to 5 minutes or 5 minutes to 10 minutes. 15 minutes is okay, maximum, or 20 minutes. Yeah, but if you go over 20 minutes, then people might get bored of what you're saying and then switch off or something like that. So at least a short, sharp answer is fine with me, and then we'll expand in our discussion forum. Yeah. And also, I made an announcement on the forum that you can also review the entries by those who did it last year, or those who participated last year. We have a lot of audio files there, so you can listen to what your peers or your seniors have shared last year, and then review that, and you can ask questions or make comments based on what was shared last year, 2023. So the current or the CA force and the PG force will be graduating in a few weeks time. They've shared the questions and comments there, so you can review that and then ask your question or make comments as well. So I'll count that as part of your tally for the 5 different weeks. I hope that's clear. Apart from Adele, anybody else before I let you go? I don't want to take more of your time. Okay, so this session has been recorded, so once I end the session, I'll upload the audio and the video file so you can listen to it on the forum. Alright. So with that, I'll let all of you go. Thank you to the 3 presenters for this morning, and you all have a wonderful day today. And see you on Friday. Bye for now.